Hi, everyone. Welcome back to God's Whispers, a place where we take the time to pause and reflect on the word of the Lord. Today, I'm going to be speaking about a reading from Revelation, chapter 12, verses 7 through 12. Because the church celebrates today the feasts of St. Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael, the Archangels. Let's listen. War broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels battled against the dragon. The dragon and its angels fought back, but they did not prevail, and there were no longer any place for them in heaven. The huge dragon, the ancient serpent, who is called the devil and Satan, who deceived the whole world, was thrown down to earth, and its angels were thrown down with it. Then I heard a loud voice in heaven say, "Now have salvation and power come, and the kingdom of our God, and the authority of his anointed. For the accuser of our brothers is cast out, who accuses them before our God day and night. They conquered him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. Love for life did not deter them from death. Therefore rejoice, you heavens, and you who dwell in them." Revelation was written near the end of the 1st century, where the Christians were facing persecution under the Roman Empire. The book of Revelation uses a lot of imagery to reveal deeper truths. Christ has already triumphed, and his victory over evil is definitely certain. In this chapter, Michael the Archangel defends heaven against the dragon, who represents Satan. Michael's role follows Jewish tradition, where he's seen as the protector of God's people. But when I was doing some research, it just kind of was explaining that the Revelation doesn't end the Bible. It kind of ties the whole story together, because in the beginning of the Bible, it starts off with Genesis, and the serpent enters the garden, leading to sin and death. And then at the end of the Bible is when we read Revelation, the serpent becomes the dragon, and he's finally defeated. In Genesis, I read that humanity loses the tree of life, and in Revelation, the tree of life is restored. So when we read this passage for the Feast of the Archangels, we remember that Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael are still signs of God's protection, guidance, and healing. We obviously don't see angels with our eyes, but we all face the battles of spiritual, emotional, personal battles. And so God sends his angels to defend us. Christ has already secured that we will achieve victory. Michael protects us in battle. Gabriel brings God's word into our lives, and Raphael brings God's healing. So when life feels overwhelming, this feast day can remind us that heaven fights for us. So some journal prompts for this passage would be, where do I feel that I am in a spiritual or emotional battle right now? And how can I remember that Christ has already won the victory? And which archangel do I need most right now? Michael's protection, Gabriel's guidance, or Raphael's healing? And then finally, how do I see God's quiet protection as a hope in my life? I hope that the saints Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael remind us that we are defended, guided, and healed as we are walking through our everyday lives. I hope this message resonated with you, and if you feel like a friend could use some encouragement, please feel free to pass it along. And don't forget to subscribe so you can continue to hear God's Whispers.